Welcome back. I hope your summary writing was successful. Before we start, I need to have you think about why you are taking this workshop. What is your goal so that you get the most out of it? What do you need to make this learning experience fruitful to you? Pen and paper perhaps, a cup of coffee, your laptop if you want to write it down on the laptop for sure, and make sure that you are able to follow through on each module without being disturbed. There will be times when we pause like we just did before, and you can sort of stop the video there and get back at another time. But please follow through on each part of the workshop. Why should you do a teaching portfolio? Well, it's often a requirement when getting promoted or seeking for a new tenure at a university nowadays, at least in Sweden. So you need to have one, and it's a thing that you should gather material in over time and not just do as you are doing your application. The teaching portfolio should give a fair and true description of you as a teacher. It's really important that an assessor gets an understanding of who you are and why you teach the way you do, and what your position is as a teacher. What is my ethos, so to speak, as a teacher? And when I have assessed about 100 portfolios up to now for tenure or for promotion. Where you can see and really assess a portfolio is when you see the person shining through the document. So you should make it personal without making it private, of course. And for this to happen, you need to follow this sort of line of thinking. You describe what you do, that is, I teach in a problem-based way, for example. And you need to explain also how you do it in more detail and give concrete examples. You could say that means that I divide the students into smaller groups, and they are supposed to prepare cases before each lesson or lecture, and then they need to sort of tell me what they have arrived to as for conclusions at the lesson. And in that way the students are in charge of their own learning. That is one example of how to describe what you are doing and how you do it. You also need to describe why you do it in this specific way. And this is really essential and key, because here is where you show that you can link what you do to pedagogical theory and research. And that is a critical thing in a portfolio. You really want to see that you are as scientific and scholarly about your teaching as you are about your scientific work. So in the example of problem-based learning, you could say that pedagogical research has shown that student activity is key to deep learning, and I think deep learning fosters the best students that are ready to meet the challenges in the future and continue a lifelong learning journey throughout their career. And then you need a reference. For example, you could say that Ferenc Martin has, for example, shown in his studies that deep learning occurs if, and then you describe what the key elements are and connect it to your own example. Not only do you need to link it to research, you also need to state what results does this way of teaching give when it comes to student learning. Because it's good to say it's really important to do this and that, but if it doesn't end up in good student learning, it's not useful as a teaching method. So you can do that by saying, well, the course evaluation has really been more satisfied, shown more satisfactory results after doing this course development that I have done and teaching in this way, or the exams are better. The student results are better in the exams. And you should be able to verify that by showing course evaluations, excerpts from those, or showing that the results, the grades on your courses has increased. Please note that the teaching portfolio should be selective, it should be brief. and often a recommendation is a maximum of 12 pages. It should be around 6 to 12 pages. So you need to choose. It's really essential. If you don't choose the material that you want to submit in the portfolio and the examples that you use, it will be too extensive and it will tire out your assessors and make them, I guess, more critical to you. So being able to select and choose is also a way of showing pedagogical skills. So it also shows your skills to make yourself understood and accessible in a short and understandable and specific way. So keep it brief. So we'll start with the first reflective exercise. Think of a time of your teaching when you think your teaching worked very well, when you felt true to your own beliefs and when you succeeded. Make notes about this so that you can describe the example in your teaching portfolio. If you have a peer alongside you and collaborate, share your success story with your peer and write some notes down and continue watching this video when you are ready and have done so. So we pause for a while.